Members of the Harrisonburg Backyard Chicken Project want to be able to raise laying hens in residential areas of the city. Tonight, city staff will present to City Council two versions of a proposed ordinance on the issue. One would require a minimum lot size of 20,000 square feet, the other a minimum lot size of 2 acres. Both would allow up to 4 chicken hens per single-family home. Chickens could not be raised at townhouses, duplexes, apartments, or in manufactured home parks. No roosters would be allowed. And joining us now to discuss the issue is Harrisonburg Mayor Kai Degner. Mayor, thanks for joining us.
Happy to be here.
Now, first of all, right now in the city, can you legally have chickens?
Right now, the status quo is no. You can't have any agricultural uses in the city unless you've been grandfathered in. If you've had a non-conforming use, you're allowed to have it. But right now, there's no agricultural use allowed.
Are there chickens in the city?
Yes, and we don't know where they are, but it's complaint-driven. So if people are found to have chickens, they're asked to remove them from the property, and that's actually what started this in the first place. There were some folks that had some chickens and were asked to move them off the property as they were made aware that that wasn't allowed. And they got organized and started looking at, well, why? Maybe this is something that our city should look at allowing. And we understand that some of those agricultural laws are from years ago, decades ago, when we really were trying to avoid heavy agricultural use. So this group is motivated by having small numbers of backyard egg-laying hens to use for eggs.
And the pros on it, what are you hearing from the people that want it?
So the people that are advocating for this are coming from, it's really a value-driven argument for sustainable living and simple living and having access to locally produced food, as local as your backyard.
Okay. Any other pro arguments that you think advance the issue?
Well, certainly. Just the educational experience for children is something that they mention frequently. Knowing where your foods come from, having food that you know its source and you can control what the chickens are eating, so kind of what's in your eggs, and avoiding a lot of heavy industrialized food.
The major cons that you've heard against the issue?
So there's a number of arguments that people bring up against it. Noise issues is something that's mentioned. That seems to be not a real good argument against it, given that we have dogs and everything else in the city.
Roosters the ones that...
And roosters are the ones that
make all the noise?
And they're off the table, right.
Okay.
So we have people asking questions about health concerns. How would they be disposed of? What's the increased risk for avian flu? Then you have the practical issues of how do you enforce it, how do you regulate it, what are the things that you want to restrict in terms of how big the lot size is, for example, and what kind of permitting process would be needed, how many chickens per square feet. So all those have been now mentioned as well.
We heard from the Vice Mayor, Richard Baugh, earlier, who said that under the current proposal, these two ordinances that are being put out for tonight, I guess a lot of the people that want this wouldn't be able to fit. They don't have a large enough lot, right? I
think that's true. And I think the two ordinances that were produced for us to review today came from a lot of thoughtful work by staff, and that they came up with these proposals for us to consider. Now, as they stand, I don't know that either would be what the Harrisonburg Backyard Chicken Project would advocate themselves. So essentially tonight we're looking at how might we amend this ordinance so that when we have a public hearing, we're reviewing an ordinance that people might actually, that someone might actually be happy with.
So it can't be voted on tonight?
No. I mean, it could be, but we won't, because our city council...
And does it have to go to a public hearing or not?
It doesn't, but we are committed to doing it because the city council is committed to hearing from the public on the issue. Okay. And people are very much encouraged to email us and come to the public hearing, which could be as early as 2 weeks from now on the 28th. So we'll know after tonight's meeting when that public hearing is.
All right, very good. Harrisonburg Mayor Kai Degner, thanks so much for joining us.
Great, thank you very much.
Nice to have you here. And now let's send it back to Mel.